Yeah, anyway, I know we were here to talk about comics and my comic. I ended up talking about fucking guns and real deal shit. But
Hello.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Not too bad. Whoop. Spilling coffee though.
Oh, it's okay. If I'm kind of like out of it, my abdomen has been hurting a little bit. It's because it's kind of basically in last September I had a pancreatic tumor removed, so they kind of had to slice me open.
Sounds like a fun time.
Oh yeah, they had to reroute my whole system, so that sucked. So just as a heads up, if I'm kind of out of it, I apologize.
No worries.
I just woke up from like an hour nap because I work overnights. So.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
Where you guys at now?
What?
Where you guys at now?
I'm in Nashville.
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Oh, okay.
He's in upstate New York though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in California.
Where are you? Where are you in California?
Oh, Los Angeles.
Oh, nice. My brother's moving there in the next couple months.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We share the same house right now, and I'm moving out to San Francisco, and he's moving out to to Los Angeles.
That's hilarious. Like, what are you guys moving for?
I got friends up in San Francisco, and he's a music producer, so he's moving down there because he wants to, have the ability to like actually work with other music producers and artists that are readily available because they all moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, connect me. I mean, I'd be down for meeting more people and stuff. So, like, whatever.
Oh, yeah. I've been always trying to connect him with people because I travel a decent amount, so I like to connect with people.
Yeah, I have a friend. He's in Vermont, but he goes out to the Bay Area a lot, and he did a lot of stuff for Keyboard Magazine. So there you go on that. He was
Keyboard Magazine?
Keyboard Magazine.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're basically do Moog synthesizers, mostly musicians, but they interview them more on the music side. It's not like, oh well, you're this big star like fucking Rolling Stone does, but they'll like do the thing of like, oh, let's see what music you use, what equipment you use. So it's more the nitty gritty stuff.
Oh, cool. So it's more for the producers, the music makers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's relatively well known. But you have to be a hardcore musician to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not really totally a hardcore musician, but I've played piano, but I have friends in the business. But anyway, nice. Yeah. Oh. So yeah, but how's it been for you guys?
Not too bad, although it's 30 degrees outside right now for no reason.
Oh yeah.
It's like 9 here.
Yeah, well, hey Siri, what's the temperature here?
It's 72 degrees right now.
That's the other reason my brother's moving there.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that's the reason why I was born in Chicago, but my parents moved from Korea to Chicago, and after Chicago, they're like, "Fuck this, we're moving to California."
Yeah, it's so funny. Everyone who's there will be like, "Oh, we hate the taxes, but we're not gonna move because that weather is sure nice."
Well, I think like once you get ensconced in California, it's this challenge thing. It's like New York City versus California. Like if you can make it out in California, you can make it anywhere pretty much.
Yeah, especially in the major city areas because it's just like stupid expensive, and you have to you have to travel through all that stuff. But you get the nice weather. That's the trade-off.
The only thing is that if you're in San Francisco, you will see a bum drop trowel right in front of you and take a shit. That's what's happening now. So you might want to get a tactical pen because our homeless have been known to be pretty damn mean. No, like seriously, I've had one take a swing at me randomly, and I was walking down the street with one of my buddies, and he's like 7 foot. He's like almost 6 foot, but he said, "Dude, I thought I was gonna have to drop that dude in a minute." But he was obviously like mentally disturbed because he was like he was like shadow boxing, and then he took a swing at me. I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I said, "Don't you even fucking come near me, man." But,
I think the LA. The LA homeless are definitely more aggressive than the San Fran, unless you go like deep into the Tenderloin. That's where like they get a bit unsettled.
They have heroin needles everywhere. My brother-in-law, he works as a CFO for one of the companies out there. He says there's fucking heroin needles everywhere. Like it freaks him the fuck out. So I just say get a tactical pen because you're not allowed to carry a gun or a knife.
Actually, I almost wonder if that's going to get overturned soon because I was actually just talking to my cousin about that. In New York, about, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, they made like so many things illegal. Like you couldn't carry nunchucks, like you couldn't like at all, like not even to like a martial arts class. And I happened to get a pair of like metal, I think they're out in the other room, a pair of metal nunchucks for my grandfather and a pair of wooden tonfas. And technically they were both illegal. And then I think it was last year or 2018, the Supreme Court overruled it and said that that was a federal violation of citizen rights. And so that was just New York State though, but it was still, they overruled it because like New York said you couldn't have tasers as a citizen, only police.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like if you're like a small woman or a small dude, honestly, like if you're a small person and a big guy comes after you, like a taser's a real effective way to get them off you. And if you don't have something, if you're not allowed to carry a gun, like it's pretty crazy.
That's why I kind of get annoyed with like California. They're like, oh, but you have all this other shit. I'm like, the thing is that for me, if you're gonna allow people, and it's not because it's like it's weird because like now the permissive laws for homeless people are beginning to make me not like homeless people, because the thing is that it's not because they're dirty and smelly and poor. It's nothing to do with that. But it's like a lot of them are fucking mentally fucked up, so they'll assault you.
A lot of them were this happened across the country. That a lot of them were originally in psychiatric wards, and then what happened was a huge set of laws were passed that basically removed them all, put a bunch of them in jail, and the rest became homeless. And it was just like this huge like wave of that happened. It was something like 20 or 40 years ago, and it's just.
Yeah, sorry. It was like I think it was not the NAACP. It was one of them, but they said, "Oh well, homeless people. People are mentally ill, have rights," and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I do.
Well, yeah, like one of the things they did in New York State, which they also removed, was they made it so that if you were old and couldn't handle your finances, you were not allowed to carry a firearm.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so like you're a fragile old person, and just because you're not well enough to like handle all of your finances, like someone else manages them, then you're not allowed to protect yourself. And I'm like, that's absolutely insane. Like that can lead to like you have ADHD, so you have Concerta. Well, no firearm for you. And it's like, what?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's like, even though I do believe that like people that are mentally ill have rights, some of them are differing levels of competency. Like out here, it's like, do a wellness check. And it's like, some of them are so far gone. It's like, if they're severely schizophrenic or varying degrees of whatever else that they would have, they're not going to possess the sense to go and do that. And it's like, while I believe, yes, we all have human rights, but the problem is that, there's differing levels of competency of which they need to be taken care of. And that's what I got annoyed about it. And it's like, look, like, and then people say, well, you need to feel bad for them. It's like, no, go fuck yourself. Not if after somebody takes a swing at me, gangs up on me, and my friends. Like, I've had incidences of that. I've also had incidences where like one was a creeper and went into our art gallery, it's like this. I wouldn't care about, actually, as I said, they're fine to do whatever. But the thing is that don't get in my space. Don't think you can go and drop trow and shit everywhere. I'm like, you don't have a right to do that. So it's like, for me, it's just like, and also if you come up to me aggressively, and I don't mean like, can you spare some change, but actually get in my person and try to block my way into a store. No, we're not okay. I'm not okay with that. It's like, I've gotten to a point where it's like, I'm beginning to kind of hate homeless people now because of it. It's just like, and I think even though California doesn't really want to say that out loud, I think that's beginning to happen.
Oh,
like,
it definitely is. I've seen that because like I have friends that live out in California, and I can, just by the demeanor and like the conversations, I can tell like that's what's happening. And it's mostly because of simple stuff like I was saying, like California making it so you can't carry guns, but the people that are promoting that are people that have bodyguards with guns, right? Like it's a bunch of celebrities that live in Hollywood that are like, yeah, the normal person doesn't need guns. That's stupid. And it's like, you're saying that, but you have 20 henchmen around you with pistols, rifles, whatever to protect you. And it's like,
what people have lost sight of is like, it's an option. As for me, as a person, I would like to have that option because I'm not going to go around and be stupid about it. Now, I understand like background checks to a point. You don't want a person that's a violent felon getting one. But it's kind of funny, like with a lot of the gun buyback laws, a lot of them are ex-gang members that have gone straight, which I'm all for. But the thing is that you find out a lot of times later on, they're actually selling them back on the street.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, so it's just like I'm like, nah, fuck you. But yeah, anyway, I know we were here to talk about comics and like comic. We ended up talking about fucking guns and real deal shit. But yeah, no, it's just I live in LA, and it's funny because when I went to Austin one time for a thing, and they said, oh yeah, we really got homeless here, and they should really be able to take care of themselves and stuff. I'm like, uh-huh. So where are you from? They asked me. I said, oh, I'm from LA. It's like, oh, you'll be fine. They won't bother you. It's like, I think like California homeless has gotten a certain label of being especially mean and nasty. And I think because they've been bussed in from other states too. Like they just.
Well, that I think the biggest issue with California and its homeless is specifically the fact that because the weather's so nice, they can live there all year long. Like in New York City, there's a ton of homeless people, but very often and very sadly, there's people that just die in the winter because it's too cold.
Yeah, it gets frozen, and they like will have homeless encampments like underground in the thing. It's kind of really surreal, like in the abandoned subway areas and everything.
Yeah, and that's like the reason why California's has gotten so bad is that you've got people just gathering there because it's so nice all year long that you could live literally in the streets all year long and be fine as long as you can get food and water.
Yeah, I mean, some people die in the cold too here, but it's not as much as like it would be in New York City, because New York City I know is pretty gnarly. Ooh, but yeah, no, but yeah, so I just did the thing about the Kickstarter. So right now, at this moment, I am.
That's a good segue.
Yeah. I'm all about business. What can I say? In LA, I think what it is that in LA we don't have that much time, so we just segue into what we want to do.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino film. It's like next.
Yeah, and I'm not that bad actually. There's some people that are like really bad about it. So
it's like
30-minute conversation.
Comics podcast, episode 21. Today we have been with us.
Yeah. So what do you guys do other than comics and stuff?
I'm homeless. I'm a side job. I write, and then he edits all of my writing for my comics, and then he does the website, the entire website that we have. Any marketing thing, it's really like coming from him, and then books, the million books that are behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say for our comics, basically, Greg is the idea guy who created the concept of all the comics that we have, and then essentially I'm just like the refiner, and I go through and edit and clean them up, and then I'm essentially our CTO. I do all the programming and all the web design, graphic design. Like I created our logo, but I don't do the what's it called, the artwork for the comics. I can't draw people yet. And then separately, the reason why I do all that is because I work from home. I have a small digital marketing company, so I do websites and graphic design and marketing for other businesses as well.
Yeah. I work from home. I'm an illustrator, but I do graphic design work. So I'm also poking out what I could do, because I think it was just January and February was just a slow month for everybody. So I'm trying to like get more business out in the graphic design area and illustration while I do other people's comics and stuff. But I do my own. That's what this Kickstarter is for. So it's like to help fund that. But it's kind of funny. But I also seem to be this like gonzo troll motherfucker where, like when I draw, it's like I'm not the typical girl on the internet where I feel like I have to over-explain myself or get angry. Like just recently on my art stream, I was just screaming and drawing, and sometimes I say curse words and stuff. I mean, I say a lot of them. I've been doing it for over a year. And then one guy like wrote on there, said like, I don't like your art stream because you cursed and I'm going to report you. And it was on YouTube. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to first report you for harassment, and then I'm going to block you.
Yeah, it's like, how are you going to report me for cursing on YouTube? It's like, have you seen the rest of YouTube?
Some people upload straight porn on YouTube if you know where to look for it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, Oh no! Oh, my feelings! Oh, my self-esteem! Whatever. Recently,
are you sure you're from California?
Well, I'm technically from Chicago, but
I was gonna say, it's kind of funny. All the people I know from California that aren't, very sensitive, aren't from California. They moved there because of the weather and the business opportunities, but.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so funny with all the fucking safe spaces and shit. And I'm kind of going like, You know, as much as I don't want to be the older person going to younger people and say, you fucking snowflake, what the hell? But there are times I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with your generation? Like, seriously. Like, I
Yeah.
understand that my generation might have shit wrong with us, and that I totally own up to. But I just sometimes, like, some of the younger people, they're like one of my friends who does Real Deal Comics. You probably heard him, Lawrence Raw Dog Hubbard. He does Real Deal Comics. It's published through Fantagraphics. So when he was at San Diego Comic-Con, he like had his books up there, and it's about people in the ghetto, right? About people in the ghetto. They do really fucked up shit, and you laugh at it because it's really awful. They're horrible people that kill, maim, destroy each other, whatever. So he's black, and his friend Kimte is black, and they're sitting there behind. I'm putting this in context, right? And this young black man comes up and he starts reading Real Deal, and he's like this. He's like, this makes fun of black people. I don't like Real Deal. and then Kimte was like, well, Real Deal don't like you. Get the fuck out of here then. Why the hell are you like fucking bitching at me about it?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah. And like the look on the guy says, I don't like Real Deal.
My feelings. I don't want to have feelings.
I mean, look, there's things that are obviously very offensive that you can complain about, but sometimes it's just, after a while, I'm just like, I could be annoyed by this, but I really don't care. And maybe I've reached that point in my life where I just like look at them like, whatever. Like if people rant on about the newest political thing that needs to go and grab their head, I'm just like, don't care. Hide. Don't give a shit.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's very much people that like they have, life is so good that they're like, what can I complain about? Oh my God, words, they hurt.
yeah, like I was like kind of like when I heard that, I was like going, you know, I must live in America where I have it so good that people get upset that I said a bad word. Like seriously, like other fucking like countries get stabbed, shot, killed, bombed, gore danced, skull dragged, and like you even venture out of your house for being the wrong ethnicity or the wrong religion, you get your ass killed. But hey, you know, in America, it's like, oh, you said the word fuck. I'm upset.
Feelings.
People just, I think this guy, I don't know if it's, I don't think this flag was Spanish, but he had a Spanish last name, this guy that got upset. So I have I don't know what country it would be from. I have the flag somewhere, but it was just kind of funny because I was just laughing. Like, are you serious, you fucking kid?
So now that we've talked about all that, what is your Kickstarter about? What's your comic book?
Oh, okay. So DemonBitch is based off girls I fucking hate. I hate them because they were cunts to me and they were mean. And girls can be mean to each other in ways that you cannot fathom. And again, I'm not saying guys can't. I'm not a guy, so I wouldn't know. So, but this is from my experience of like women that also were like the forefront of, oh, I'm for other women, go women power, and they're the worst to other women. They are the most bullying, mean, petty fucking cunts that I've ever met. A lot of them, not all, but a lot. That's how it's like, kind of like when a girl goes, it's not like if you're empowered and like you believe, oh, women should vote or something. That's not it. I'm talking about the girls that are really rabidly, I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to be around your ass. Because it's just like, it's that whole like classic queen bee things. So what DemonBitch is about, it's about like women that I met in LA, most of the time. And they used to be friends of mine, and then I stopped being friends with them because they were just horrible people. Not only to me, but other people. Like Egg Lady is basically, I don't know, did I send you the copy of the comic? I think I usually do, like before.
Oh yeah. I actually was like reading it before this.
Yeah. No, I just couldn't remember. My brain's been scrambled. No, but Egg Lady actually is based on a person that I used to be friends with, and I stopped being friends with her because she would just do these weird call outs, like putting my business out in front of people. But then what would be weird is that I found out a few years later that she got disbarred for fucking over immigrants. Like she was an immigration lawyer, and she would literally like take their money and not help them in court. So this one poor guy that was trying, these are like, you hear about illegal immigration and all that, and I know that happens, but it's like, these are people trying to do the right thing. And unfortunately, that's not an uncommon thing where you have immigration lawyers and they will take their money and fuck them over by not giving them what they want or not even doing anything. It's, at least in California, it's pretty common. It's really fucked up. So what ended up happening was that they so what happened was that she even lied to a judge about this person saying, oh, he couldn't make his court date because he had transportation issues, and it turned out that she never told him when they were.
Jesus.
Like, this poor guy almost got deported in absentia, I think once or twice. It was really fucked up. And then she got disbarred, and I'm like, fuck you for that. It's like she did some awful things to me, and some of the other people that I knew were like, well, I don't know, Christy, you might be kind of upset about it. And like, then I showed them the disbarment. They're like,
yeah, if you get disbarred, like you literally like swear an oath to do something and then broke it. Like
well,
you're like, that's the worst type of person for anything, like to get any major thing like that removed if it wasn't for a just cause. You know what I mean? Like,
well, the thing is that also I found out that, in the legal system, it's really hard to get disbarred. They will like just suspend you maybe for 30 days to a year. You may actually I think one of the things is ask for a voluntary suspension where you take a break or something to review law or something. But it's very hard to get straight out disbarred. Well, this woman did, and she should have. I mean, she was screwing over people out of their money and their livelihoods and getting them sent back to wherever like they were going to get sent back to without any just cause. It was just really messed up. They hired her to do a job. And what was messed up was that one of them, she actually did a good job for. And then the second time around, she screwed them over. So it was like, wow. And then,
that's
so,
even worse, gaining trust and then screwing them over.
yeah, it's just like when I did that, everything I draw, it's true. This is stuff has actually happened in front of me, to me. And to other people, or what I've observed. Like one of them is DemonBitch is based on one character or one woman that I knew. I'm a model, but really she's a cokehead, cocaine head. And I found out with one of our mutual friends that she goes online and says, oh, I have Crohn's disease. Feel bad for me. Look, I'm such a Crohn's warrior. And it turns out the bitch does cocaine like for 30 days straight along with Jack Daniels. And understandably ends up in the hospital. It's like, wow, so really you have a ischemic bowel.
Yeah, that'll probably give you some Crohn's symptoms.
Well, and it pisses me off because it's like you have people that legitimately have IBS or Crohn's, and that's hard to diagnose by itself.
I have friends with that, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like something you take a bunch of fucked up drugs and you get it. It's just something that happens, and they don't know what triggers it. I mean, they say it could be unsanitary conditions, and then you get triggered into it. But the thing is that if you're doing cocaine, like I have a brother-in-law whose brother is a surgeon. I mean, we talked about that, and he actually told me like a week prior when I had talked to him, he had to amputate a woman's leg because she had injected herself with cocaine. But it's like ischemic. Yeah, it's ischemic bowel. It'll constrict your blood vessels, and I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised because it was like it can cause a heart. I always thought it would blow out your brain pretty much, or wear out your nose, or fuck up your circulatory system or your heart. Your breathing, like you would give you a heart attack.
Yeah.
But I found out that one of the side effects is gangrenous bowel. So it's ischemic. It's ischemic bowel. So it's like essentially your bowel will die.
Yeah, it probably just like breaks down all of the walls of the membranes of all the tissue around it. I can't even imagine what injected.
Well, it causes necrosis because it constricts the blood vessels like crazy.
Yeah.
So it's based off like another character that I met. So it's like really colorful women that I've met in general, which are not colorful in the best sense. They're just fucking pieces of shit. So that's what DemonBitch is about. Women that are pieces of shit to each other.
Yeah, you definitely see that while reading it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's odd because I think people kind of get a bigger sense of the picture. Like you think a hate-filled, angry comic would make somebody more hateful and angry towards other people. But what I found is the opposite. Like it kind of gives people this permission to feel this hatred towards this person that wronged them, depending on what it is. And then they go, wow, I'm angry and I'm mad and I hate them and I hope they die at some point. But since I'm able to voice that, I'm okay. I'm done. It's like they forgive them. And that forgiveness is just like, I don't care about them anymore. And I think in our society, we have this really disgusting sort of viewpoint that, well, any emotions that you have, you need to feel them. But if you're angry and you feel hate, then you shouldn't. And it's like, no. And sometimes like you need to stand up to people that do shitty things to you. I mean, yeah, it's your judgment call whether or not it's worth it. But like that guy that was trying to harass me online, even though it was small and it's like, oh, you could have laughed it off. It's like, I do laugh it off. But I also fucking blocked him because I didn't feel like dealing with his bullshit. And I reported him because like, you're fucking harassing me. You're just being an asshole. fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like, I just did that. And the thing is, it only took 2 mouse clicks.
Yeah.
But it's just like people kind of go in this other extreme, like, oh, you shouldn't waste your time to not having any sort of conflict resolution. And therefore you let bullies get away with shit. And sometimes you just
the saying, but there's some cool philosophical quote that talks about like holding on to anger is more poisonous to the one holding it than the one spreading it. You know, that's the thing. It's like whether or not you express your anger, you will be angry over things. So if you don't get rid of it, like you don't need to express it like in a rage, but the point is if you don't acknowledge it exists, like it's just like drinking poison. It's just slowly gonna kill you inside.
Or, you think to yourself, well, I shouldn't be mad. I'm the better person. They're just going to laugh at me. I'm like, you know what? Go ahead and be fucking angry. You should be angry. You should be pissed off. And therefore, like when you get that pissed off, you won't ever let it affect you again. And it actually doesn't make you violent. Usually the people that are like violent or abusive or anything, they're the ones that hold on to anger. And then they lose control of themselves, or they haven't been taught control, and they just spew it out onto everybody. It comes out in really ugly ways.
That's the whole thing with video games. Like they tried to say like video games make people violent when it's actually been proven to be the opposite. Like it allows people to get out random aggression that like we're humans. Like we used to hunt, gather, and kill each other all the time. Like we have that built in for a protection purpose. We need to get that out every once in a while. So if somebody's a dick and you get to yell into the ethos, or even if read a comic and be like, yeah, screw that person. Like that's a great way to get rid of it instead of acting it out.
Well, yeah, and also like I think people need to be just honest with themselves. Like, okay, I have these really hateful feelings. Okay, I do. I have them. All right, and without judgment, you deal with it, and you'll be like, okay, that's it. And sometimes that's it. And sometimes what I don't like about some friends is that they'll go, especially other women friends. I mean, I don't know if guy friends do that. They'll like, well, you're just letting them into your space and everything. It's like they're already in my fucking space by pissing me off. It's already done. Fuck it. But you just want to express it. You want to get it out. And it's like, oh, well, I don't have the time. And it's like, then why the fuck do people bully you all the time? Because you fucking shove it down. I mean, there is a thing like, yeah, sometimes you do need to walk away from things. I'm not saying you fucking fight everybody in the world, but after a while, you're just like, okay, asshole, fuck you, And some people just need to have that said to their face. Like, fuck you. I don't care, Like that guy, that was my big fuck you to him. Was like, I don't like your stream. All right, here, let me help you, block you, and then I'll report you for harassment. Fuck you, I did it first. Go away.
Yeah, there's a character that is in our comics, and some actually most of the characters that are in my comics are based off people that I actually know in like real life. And one character was a person that used to be my friend for like a couple years, and then I was like one of the first to figure out how much of a piece of shit he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's based off this guy in our comic. He has a gambling problem.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So he like treats his like girlfriend. He's still with that girlfriend because she's just crazy. He like cheats on her and stuff, but like terribly cheats, not just like like a girl or it's like he goes on Craigslist, tries to find like my friend Sean found this through like an email because like he somehow like had the email address that he was using for fantasy football or something, and he had to use that guy's email, and he saw all these emails from like people from like Craigslist that he was talking to. It was like transvestites and stuff like that. Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, and then I finally like, I'm not one to cause drama or anything, but I was like, I hate this guy. So like one day I was just bored and I destroyed him, and I was like, I like messaged his girlfriend. I was like, like he's like cheating on you, and she couldn't believe that because it's so like crazy of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's based off this. He has the exact same name in my comic because. So yeah. If he reads it one day, maybe.
So he gets a tortured existence in our comic. That's how he gets his venting out.
And yeah, so I originally Dylan changed the fate of this character because I originally killed him, which is awesome. You can But like my best friend, like really hated him at one point. So I made his character be the one that like ends his life. So in the comic, my best friend, he's like a Green Arrow type of character. He shoots like 2 arrows in the guy's eyes, his knees, like every part of his body is just like shot with arrows. And then like he stabs like one last arrow in like his neck, like through his throat, and then he's like, all right, go fuck yourself. And then like because he like killed his like wife in the comic, so yeah, but like he like completely takes out his anger.
Yeah, it's like that level of rage that you have on that person, so
yeah,
it's just better to take it out in a drawing it. And it's weird because like people who don't or can't or won't draw, they'll like read it and they'll start laughing because it's just so demented. Like one of the characters, Shitbird, that I came up with, it was just some girl that fucking went on about her ass all the time, but then it would just be on and on and on and on. I'm like, fucking shut up, like, god damn it. And then it was like when you really looked at it, and like she hated other girls and shit and everything, and like she would just lash out psychotically at people, like just have these eruptions of rage. And she did it to me twice, and the second time I was like, okay, I'm not talking to you. And then she made the El Paso thing about her right after it happened. Remember the shooting in El Paso?
Jesus.
Like literally she actually tweeted out, it's like, well, we need to get rid of people with like that drink the Kool-Aid of toxic masculinity. So then El Paso happens. I hate it when I'm right. I'm like, wow. So I just blocked her. And then she kept trying to come to me to talk to me. And it's like, okay, look, I know you're trying to talk to me. Like you want to go ahead and for us to continue being friends, but seriously, whatever, fuck you. Like that was how I felt. So I just let her know, hey, in an email, I just don't want to talk to you. You didn't own up to how you reacted to me about this thing. And I don't want to talk to you. I mean, that's it. And it was like, part of it did include a couple of bucks, but it wasn't really just the money. Like she said, I'll pay you back. And then we were going to go to this convention and we were like, oh, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden she just kind of lashed out at me when I just told, and also this was around the time when I was sick with my pancreatic tumor. So I just copied it and forwarded it to her because just for some reason I didn't feel good. And I didn't say it at the time, but I just felt awful. And then she just went on this whole long rage-filled thing about how I was busting her balls and everything. Like literally she would wait until we were over the phone to start screaming at me. Like she just started screaming like, bitch, I carried your stuff and everything. I'm like, what? Like I asked her to hold my purse once, but I was getting something out. It wasn't like, oh, you're carrying my thing. It was like weird. And then she drew this thing about like, oh, well, it's because of money and I'm cuter than you. And that's why you're jealous. I'm like, no, bitch, I ain't jealous of you. I don't have HPV, but okay. So I'm like, fuck you. All right, let's do this. And then so I drew the cartoon of Shitbird. And I just like, and it just had these fucking big ass tree trunk thighs and like this tiny little ass. And like she was always going about how her ass was like star platinum. And I'm looking at it's like, why does it have stretch marks? I mean, it's like I don't hate on a woman that has stretch marks and shit. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I'm just like, okay, you brag about this one body part of yours. This has got to be gold star platinum. This has got to be like better than J-Lo type shit. And it's like, it's not, and it's like, and she'd talk about like the amount of dick she'd fuck, but then go on about neck beards and shit. And then I'm like, she went on about neck beards so much, like, what, you wanted to try to fuck one? I don't really pay attention to those guys, but okay. It's like guys like that don't really, I mean, the thing is when I write and draw characters, these are people that have personally affected me. Like not a group, but this person affected me and how they work. And that's how I feel that people can relate to because they've had a person that like that bother them. But I mean, it was just like all these weird ass tropes. And then she was just drawing about it. And then she says, oh, well, you're just cute. I'm just cuter than you. And I'm like, really?
That sounds like the most insecure person I've ever heard in my life. Like whenever somebody just like they tell you you're mad at them for blank, whatever that is the thing they hate about themselves the most.
I mean, the thing is what bothered me is like she said she would pay me back. And secondly, it was like it was turned into this whole thing where she was screaming psychotically at me. That's like why I'm not talking to her. It's like you may think it's just about this amount of money. It's not really. I'm glad I didn't lend you more than that. And what was even more messed up is like, we'd done that before, like where like, oh, I owe you a couple bucks. I'll Venmo you or something. You know, so I didn't think anything of it. And then she just went to nuts up on me like that. And I'm like, okay, fine. You know, I don't have time for this shit. Like I've dealt with that shit before with other female friends. I mean, male friends, yeah, but female friends, let's just stay on point. You know, whenever I've had them fucking nut up on me and they don't apologize for at least or address their behavior, it's like, you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. You're going to nut up like probably a year from now or a few months or whatever the pattern is. And I'm not going to deal with that kind of abuse anymore. So it's like, that's why I was like, oh yeah, okay, $3 equals jealousy because I added interest. Why not? You know?
I added interest.
I mean, it was just stupid, and it just goes on about my ass and Becky's and Becky's and Becky's. I'm like, oh God, shut up about Becky's. Like, I don't even think about this shit all like half the time. But it was like most of the time, it was like very woman hating, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
You know?
that's one big thing I've noticed is that most groups that feel oppressed are most oppressed by their own groups.
Yeah, that's why it's like sometimes it's like, as I said, I'm not saying that women shouldn't have equal rights, equal pay, and all that. That's fine. I totally advocate for that. But the women that kind of get in your face about not being feminist enough, I'm just like, really? You want to get in my fucking face? Fuck you. You know, it's like, oh, like they don't yell at the guy that's promoting misogyny. They yell at me. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? One woman did that to me, and I fucking told her to go fuck herself personally. But yeah, it's like I hate that shit. And usually they have a record of being antagonistic and shitty to other people. So it's like it's like before they kind of put you in this kind of separate hole where they're like, oh, they make you feel isolated, but really when you think about it, it's like they've done it to other people. So you can tell them off all you want. But again, you know, it was just like I just told her in an email, like, look, I don't want to talk to you because of A, B, and C. Don't respond to me. Either one of those times she could have said, you know what, I fucked up, I'm sorry, or we could have just talked about it like normal people, or just never did anything. But also the thing is what was kind of shitty about this is that this person also was published, and that's fine. I was for her. But then when one person didn't know that she was published because they weren't in the comic industry, she became really mean and condescending to them. And later on she was saying, how dare they think I'm a cut rate artist? I'm like, looking at her like, what? Then I found out the whole story later. I'm like, wow, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, unless you were Stephen King or Neil Gaiman that's had at least 20, 30 years doing the thing, like, not everybody's going to know who you are. And even then, like, why don't you take that opportunity to get to know them and have them as a fan?
Some of the biggest people in the world aren't known. Like, there's people that don't know who Jeff Bezos is. Like,
yeah. Right? Or Mark Zuckerberg or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, or Elon Musk, you know, it's like, or, you know, Steve Jobs, who is he, you know, or Bill Gates. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, maybe they were arrogant. I don't know. But it's like, after a while, it's kind of like, I mean, when people found out about DemonBitch, like one of my fans/friends, they came up to me and they said, oh yeah, I was at this musical. There were these people I totally didn't know. And they pointed at the pendant and said, oh, look, DemonBitch. I was really happy, you know, like that people recognize DemonBitch. I was happy because of that. I was grateful because of that. I was like, damn, you know, it's speaking to people. But I mean, I don't know if I want to ever reach that ever level of like being that arrogant to people. That's the thing. That's what shitbird to me is. Like, you always find some shitty bitch that does that shit, that makes herself out to be this big thing due to severe insecurity. At first, she kind of comes out like she's sort of cool. And then it turns out she's just a fucking self-centered asshole. And it's like, that's really sad, you know? And, you know, it's like if they even get a modicum of any sort of fame or any sort of recognition, they turn into a real fucking asshole. And until they need you, and then they come up to you and like, hi, I'm trying to be your friend again. It's like, you never fucking apologize to me.
It's like, sorry, what?
You know, I mean, I was polite to her in person, but I just later on said, look, I just don't want to talk to you, man. And I left it at that. You know, I didn't make it into this whole thing about like, you owed me this. I just said, you just didn't do that. You didn't own up to it. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I could have been a lot more personal. Like she really insulted some of my friends' friends, and they never did anything to her by pulling that shit. And it's like, I'm not okay with that. You know, it's like, and she would be the first person to talk about how this person was a famous douchebag. It's like, well, you're it too.
It's like, now you're immortalized in my comics.
I have no idea. Like the newest one is shipper that I had for Valentine's Day, because, you know, people, unfortunately with women, and I'm sure with this happens with guys too, Like with women, we shoot each other down. I'll admit that. You know, we shoot each other down. Like if you like some guy, for example, or like someone, you will have a lot of female friends that say, oh, well, yeah, he just looks like some guy. But look at this guy that I'm fucking. This is awesome. Blah, blah, blah. Go on, go on, go on. Maybe they won't be as obvious as that, but after a while, in retrospect, they'll be like, well, I don't know. When I'm like, well, you know, that person's not my type, but hey, if you like him. But that's different than saying, well, he just looks like some guy. And then shoots it down in the sea of hell chatter negativity. I mean, like, goddamn. Like, I don't know. It's like, I have more guy friends than girlfriends just for that reason. Because like sometimes guys are just pretty straightforward.
Yeah, except everything you just said sounds a lot like this one guy that I know.
Same-sex friendships, it's just like you notice that bullshit with each other. So that's why it's like, I'm not saying guys don't go through it. I'm not a man. And I'm sure guys go through that same fuckery as girls do in a way. Like when they are friends with other women, like if I am friends with guys, I don't get that as much. But with other women, it's like this weird thing. Just because I like have the same parts as they do, they have to kind of be a fucking cunt to me for some reason.
I would say guys probably tear each other apart about other stuff. I think we rather tear each other apart rather than like what's the damn it. I think it was, you know, Jordan Peterson is.
He sounds familiar.
Yeah, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. He wrote the 12 Rules for Life, but he got huge in Canada at first when they started passing a law that would force you to use like all the pronoun stuff for transgenderism stuff. So, but basically he spoke out against it because it wasn't like you couldn't say certain things. It actually forced you to say certain things. And if you didn't, you would get fined, jailed, all that stuff. And so that made him huge. Now he just talks about responsibility in life and how people want to seek rights and privileges without the responsibilities and duties that come with them. And so that's a big thing he talks about. But he talks about the fact that, because he breaks down the psychology of men and women a lot. And one of the things he talks about is that women, although it seems due to like speaking that men rate women more aggressively, it's actually the opposite, that women are much more harsh against attractiveness than men when it comes to just judgment, not whether or not like they would you know, like be together with someone, but more just the actual judgment of it. And like, so guys would rather bust on each other and be like, oh, you're a fat slob, rather than insult, you know, like the significant other or the partner or whatever. Where like women like to go right for the throat by going for the thing you care more about than yourself.
Yeah, which is weird. And the thing is that I find that really kind of upsetting in a way. So like when I did DemonBitch, it was a commentary on that. So like today's Valentine was basically, I remember when I was in a relationship at one point at Valentine's Day, or I would be single, I just get shit for it from two different camps. Like, oh, there's Galentines. Oh, I'm going to shit all over Galentines. Oh, I'm in a relationship. No, we're going to have Galentines. You're so much better without being with a man. I'm like, what the fuck is this, you asshole? Like, you're already making this day harder for people, okay? Like, you know, or whatever. I mean, whatever you want to argue about the Valentine's Day, whether it's more special or it's not, you know,
I don't really care about Valentine's Day at all.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's just shit on a day that like people want to enjoy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
I don't care like what other people think about it or whatever. They're like, oh, it's like I get to do this special thing this one day. I'm like, you should do that every day. Like,
yeah, it's just like, okay, fine. We have one day that's called attention to romantic love, and I don't think that's terrible. It's just whatever, you know. It's just like, but if that's the only day you ever express it, it's like then there's something is wrong with you. You know, you should appreciate and care about your significant other, and vice versa. But yeah, I just thought it was funny when, you know, and so I just decided to come out with those two cartoons of DemonBitch today. I don't know. Let me actually send you that link too. I'll send you, Greg, that link because you'll like it. It's pretty vicious. But it's like I've noticed that these women tend to do this towards people that like they'll like have severe parental issues. Now, okay, everybody has parental issues, like mommy, daddy issues, whatever, depending on your raising your background. That does not make you an asshole by itself. But it's like when you basically are screaming and yelling about how fucked up your dad was, even if you're a woman, and then you act just like them.
oh.
No, it's okay if you snicker, man. Oh, you can forward it to Dylan. I don't care. It's funny.
It's
Is it in
hilarious.
the email?
She sent it on Messenger. I'll send you the link. I'm on the second panel. My dad. I told him that solves all my emotional problems.
Yeah. It's like it's just like as one guy once said, it's like you take everything that everybody wants to say but doesn't, or doesn't have the courage to, and you just put it out there.
Yeah. Oh.
Pull it up over here. Oop.
Yeah.
I would say it's true to life, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm so glad I don't know any of these people in real life.
Yeah, I draw them so you don't have to.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, being in LA, you probably just from the sheer quantity of people, the likelihood of you being exposed to people that are like that is much higher.
I will say this about LA. When you go into LA, you will go through the crust of shitty people. And then after a while, you'll actually meet the good people.
I've never been to California, but when he moves to California, I'll actually have a reason to go to California. So
yeah, people actually told me I should go to New York City. They said they'll like me really good in New York. Even people that are natives in New York City, they're like, "Oh, why don't you move to New York? You could get along so well over there." I'm like, "Okay." I guess because I don't bullshit. I said, "Okay, what do you want here?"
Yeah, everybody in New York they seem miserable because I moved to Florida for 3 months and I hated it, but everyone's
Jesus.
It's some shit. I just the second one. I was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah. Yeah. While I was living in Florida for 3 months, just walking into a grocery store, people came up to me and "Oh, do you want a basket?" I'm like, "What?" People don't do this in New York. They're like, "Oh, fuck you." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm from upstate New York. I've been to New York City tons of times. I visited California, I guess 3 or 4 times now, and now I'm in Nashville. So even just going from upstate New York, let alone visiting New York City and the 2 major cities in California, Nashville's so friggin' different. Everyone here is nice. The homeless people are nice. It's so weird. Even simple stuff like those damn credit card machines in New York. You put your card in and it takes an hour and a half, I think, just to piss you off because they have better internet up there. But then you come down here and you put the card in and it beeps. I'm like, oh wait, did I do it wrong? Oh wait, it's done. Wait, what happened? Everything here is kinder. The only difference is nobody uses the directional here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean in California it's interesting because we want to be all like-minded, progressive and all this other stuff. But I've told other people we have good ideas, but we're douchebags about it. Well, other states don't do it, so fuck them and we're better than that. And it's what's the expense of everything else? Fuck you, man. It's it just gets to I mean, even other Californians recognize it. It's well, we got to help homeless people, but then we let bums run rampant everywhere and fucking cause problems everywhere. And it's how dare you say that? Isn't that not nice? I'm they have rights. I'm they don't have a right to fucking trample over my shit. They don't have a right to gang up on me when I'm walking down the street asking me for money. And no, this isn't would you spare some change while they're standing there? They will come up to you and block your way. Fuck off, dude.
Well, out a year ago or whatever, I was going to this burrito place that's in my hometown, the downtown part of it, and I went to go park my car, but where I parked my car, it was at at this bank around the corner from there, and it was 10 p.m. at night, and that place, that city is not the greatest to be in general anyway. Yeah, Schenectady, not the greatest. So I just parked my car and I'm with my girlfriend because I just got her from I picked her up from work, and there's this dude that comes up, this black dude, it's part of the story, so I'm not gonna just make it.
He's
Why
why
is
is
black
black in your real story?
And
man.
he literally knocks on my window, and I'm like, "Are you fucking serious right now?" And there's change in the center console, and I go to turn my car off, and I'm just sitting in my car waiting for him to leave, and I'm just staring forward at the bank, I'm like, yeah, I'm not like getting out until this guy like walks away. And he's just standing there, and then he's like not yelling through the window, but he's talking loud enough that I can hear him. He's like, "Yo, man, you got any change?" And I'm like, "Nah." And he's like, "Yeah, man, you lying. I see change like right there." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go now." So like I put my car back in drive, and like I just drove around the corner, and just to get away from him. And then like he saw us go into Bombers, the top burrito place, but he never like approached us after that. But like a week later, there was another person, and she actually came inside Bombers, or a couple weeks ago, a couple weeks after that, and this lady actually came inside Bombers, and like her brother that was working at the time, he like jumped over the counter and actually like confronted the person, because I guess they were going in there a lot and like trying to like bother people for money. And she's like, "Yo, what is this place?" I'm like, "The sign's right there. It says Bombers. Can you not read?" And
Bombers is a burger place. We don't have it out here, so.
Oh no, it's just small.
it's just a local place.
They just make burritos and sell margaritas in giant glasses.
Sorry, I totally like spaced out.
Nah, it's not like a Taco Bell or anything. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, like $1." And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Aren't you waiting for food?" And I'm like, yeah. What does that have to do with you?
I've had that happen before, like just simple, like where you go to get food, like because I don't carry cash, I just have a card on me, and I go and get food, and they want it for drug money, because like I'm coming out of a Subway, I've got like a bunch of subs with me for like, I think I was going over to my grandmother's, we're all gonna have subs, and they're like, "Yo, you got any spare change?" I'm like, "No, but like I'll buy you a sandwich if you need." And he's like, oh no, that's okay. And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." Suddenly you don't need my money.
I guess I'm colder than that. I'm just like, whatever. I don't need to talk to you. It's just like I'm so annoyed with like the whole bum shit that I'm just like, nah.
Yeah. Most of the time I ignore it, but like I feel like weird in a way, just ignoring it, because because you can like see them staring at you, because there's this one that stands near this community college, that there's this light that I have to like always stop at before I turn the corner to go towards my girlfriend's work. And I'm just sitting there at the light, like waiting for it to turn green, and this guy's like walking down the line of cars, and it's like a major highway, like ramp. The ramp.
Oh,
is
I know
coming
right
off
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then this guy has like a Dunkin' Donuts cup, and it's for like change or whatever, but he's like shaking it and stuff. I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he's like just staring down people. I'm like,
I feel like California probably gets you a little numb to that, just because of the quantity. Like you feel bad, you feel terrible the first time, you feel bad the next time, you feel guilty the next time, and eventually like, "Could you stop bothering me?" Like,
I think it's like I've just been kind of fucked off about homeless people. And again, granted, I've given money sometimes, only if I felt like, okay, maybe
I did it once.
Yeah.
I did it once.
My brother did it once, and the dude followed. It was when he was a kid, and my dad told him not to, and the guy followed us for like 3 blocks. And now he's scarred for life. Like he'll never give money to a homeless person. I'm like, I never did. I would like, I bought food for homeless people before, and I because then I don't feel bad. I'm like, that's what you really need is food. I don't care that you want booze and drugs. But yeah, like when I was in San Francisco, I think twice in the same trip, I ended up buying food for random homeless people. Like I ended up chatting with them and discovering they were homeless, kind of thing. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like you're.
Yeah, it sucks because like you have heard of people that have actually gotten out of dire straits and all that, and they were really fucked. And I feel bad. Like that is really what you should be doing. But it's like there are some people that have gotten so fucked up and aggressive about it. It's like it makes me kind of pissed. It's like, really, you're not endearing me to you.
Yeah.
It's like the more shit that you do about this makes me just want to fucking tase you or some shit.
Yeah,
but I can't carry one.
Yeah.
I've been accosted by them. Like I've been sexually harassed by one. It's fucked up. Oh yeah.
Crazy.
A couple years ago, in Schenectady too, I was going into a Burger King drive-thru. I was going into the drive-thru, and this guy sees my car like pulling into the drive-thru. He comes up to my car, like the passenger side, and then like I don't put the window down, but I'm just like, "Yeah," and I'm like talking through the window, and he's like, "Yo, man, you got like $5?" I'm like, What?
Like, damn, bold asking for $5.
I'm like, that's random. He's like, my mom's got AIDS. I'm like, I don't know why that has anything to do with your $5 situation. He's like, I need $5. And then I actually gave him $5 because I was like, whatever. And I actually I saw him walk into the Burger King. He actually bought food. I'm like, holy shit. He actually did what he said he was going to do. Because most of the time, just like, they're not going to actually use this money for like food.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Yeah. But
But
like,
I mean, like,
what's your
at least-
mom having AIDS have anything to do with?
I guess it's a pity thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
I
like
don't-
the weirdest
like-
thing ever.
Like, I don't know your mom, so.
Oh man. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, no, it's just like, so I just draw about people I fucking can't stand. It's like, sometimes people like say, I've had other girlfriends tell me like, well, you shouldn't do that, but they like DemonBitch, and I'm like, you know, I'm getting tired of people telling me not to do stuff, because it's usually you're wrong, and usually like you end up having a more fucked up life, so you might as well just do what you need to do to heal yourself. So it's weird because Personal Monsters, that was the precursor of that, and then DemonBitch was the secondary bit of it, and that's what made it, I don't know, that's what made it go, like, that's what made things kind of healthier for me. But at the same time, it sort of made things healthier for a lot of people. Like, a lot of women fucking buy it, and it's like, oh, but it's petty as fuck. And they're going like, yeah, it's petty, but the thing is that it allows you to be petty in a safe space.
It's like chocolate. It's just delicious going down.
You know, and the thing is that you would think that it would incite people to hate somebody more, but it really doesn't. It just gives them space. Okay, I hate this person. I'm going to go through my hate pile about them, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you already died in the comic. I'm already over it.
Yeah, it's like you're in there and everything and blah, 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 whatever. So, yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, so that's pretty much it on that. So, yeah, that's DemonBitch. Kickstarter ends on the 20th.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. We covered like all the questions without having to ask any of them, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm really good about that.
So what's your goal, and where are you at now?
Well, I'm
It's actually
100.
past the goal.
I'm past goal, but I want to just get as far as I can. The next stretch goal will be unlocked at 4,500, so I'm trying to get that down before anything else.
How close are you now?
I'm 4,111, but one of my friends contributed, but it hasn't been updating. So I mean, again, we don't need to do it right now if you don't feel like it, or if at all. But if you want to like throw something to that, I'll see if it updates, if it's not an issue with Kickstarter itself, if you know what I mean. Because he said he had the confirmation email and shit. So, but I'm like probably about $400 away, estimated, at least at what I can see right now on the website. So I just want to go the distance, because you know how Kickstarter fees and all that other fun shit. But yeah, so it's like you unlock an MP3 of the reading of the saga of the Egg Lady wedding cake. That's the story about the cocktail. And you probably read that, and she probably did that when she married her husband. So there you go.
Very nice.
Okay. Well, this is actually perfect timing because I have to go get my girlfriend. So
Make sure there's no bums around.
yeah. Well, I have to go to a Walmart to pick her up. So.
Oh, well, that's
Oh,
good.
so good luck.
Actually, it's weird because Walmart's kind of smell sort of sewerish and poopy over here in California. And they're like,
That's most places now, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like when I went to a Walmart, I kind of hated it because it was like all these little kids running around. And I don't mind kids. It's just, you know, really unruly children running around, and it just smells like shit for some reason. And now, at least the ones in LA are better, but I went to one in Lompoc, and it was gross. You know, like it just smelled gross one time.
It's like, is that me? Like that is way too pungent.
Oh, it smelled like somebody there were all these farts and all that shit. It was not fun. Oh yeah.
Nice. Well, before we let you go, where do you want people to look for you outside the Kickstarter?
You can go to horrortourstudios.com. You can also go find me on Instagram at Horror Studios, and then DemonBitch Official. Those are two separate Instagrams. The next one would be on Twitter, Horror Studios again, and I am DemonBitch for Twitter. I think and then there's another one I'm on Snapchat and TikTok as Horror Studios, and I have a Patreon under Horror Studios and Twitch, so they can catch me streaming, and I'm on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, definitely, it was awesome having you on here. We definitely talked about some fun topics.
Yeah, right. It's like hating a bitch and everything, but
Yeah.
you know, at least if you admit that you hate a bitch, I think that's the first step to solving the problem.
healing process.
Yeah. So, Greg, are you gonna go show your girlfriend the comic, and she'll like, oh, I know this cunt.
She actually doesn't have many like shitty friends or anything like that. She had like one shitty friend that was like that, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm like reading it. I'm like, wow, this is that person. But
I guess you like the shitbird ones. Like, I fucked my dad and I killed him. Like, some people
now
that I've run into have had those issues, and you're just like, just go fuck your dad and kill him. How about that? You know? Oh God.
all right, well, I'm
All
gonna
right.
go and
Birthday. Thank you.
thanks for coming on. And yeah, this should be up on Tuesday. So
Okay. Yeah, just shoot me the link and I'll spread it around.
okay,
Nice.
All right. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yeah. So Dylan, you can friend me on Facebook too.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.